Mums with Hustle podcast, episode 549.
Welcome to the Mums with Hustle podcast, where you'll discover everyday mum entrepreneurs killing it in their industry. Learn the secrets you can replicate to create your own success with your host, Tracy Harris.
Entrepreneurial wellness doesn't really get spoken about enough, in my opinion. And I know that so many of you care deeply, not just about your businesses, but about your ability to truly enjoy your life in the process. And whenever we are working on our businesses, we also need to be working on ourselves, because we are the person leading the business. And it doesn't matter how long you've been in business. It doesn't matter what levels of success or the things that you have achieved. If you are not looking after yourself, you're not able to enjoy the fruits of your business. You're not really able to be free. So in today's episode, I invited one of my incredible long-time mentees, Angela Dickson, onto the podcast. It's actually her third time coming on the podcast, and wow, how her life has changed. But she shares with us a very defining moment that she had around New Year, which she loves that time of year because she is a goal setter and a goal getter. But she really felt like she had a big upgrade moment, or an invitation to upgrade. And in fact, there were some very clear, specific, audible words that she kind of heard or felt in her spirit, in her beingness, that told her it's time to go for more. And so Angela shares not only what that moment was, but what it has cost her in terms of the things that she's let go of in her business, the new things that she's made space for, what it looks like to reclaim her health, and all of the beautiful benefits that that is having in abundance, in overflow on her experience in motherhood and, of course, in business. This is such a special episode, and I think that you are going to get so much out of this one. So with that being said, let's dive in and let's have a conversation with Angela. Welcome, Angela, to the podcast. How are you?
I'm so good, Trace. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, the pleasure is mine. And actually, I just kicked off like our call together. I was just like, wait a minute, what is going on? Because you look like $1 million. I know it's so vain, okay? Beauty is on the inside. We all know that. But you are looking incredibly healthy and happy. And so I asked you about it, and I'm just like, we need to start this podcast off like, and talk about this amazing health journey or glow up or whatever it is. But before we dive into that, I feel like everybody knows who you are, because I feel incredibly close to you, because you've been a part of my world. We've been doing business and life together for like 10 years in various capacities, in different programs, and you and I are still standing, girlfriend. We still have our businesses. We've grown so much. So for anybody that doesn't know you, when I say Angela Dickson, you know, who is she? Where are you based from today, I guess? And what is it that you do? What's your business? Tell us about it.
Yeah, so cool. Yeah, I've definitely been around the block, haven't I?
Yeah.
Yes, we first kind of started working together. It was probably pretty close to 10 years ago. I think when you launched Social Methods Society, I think I started working with you way back then, and I was very much niched in marketing and I guess helping clinic owners. So beauty business is where I am niched. I have been a beauty therapist for over 24 years, and 10 years ago I launched Beauty Business Co, which is the pathway for a clinic owner to really step into becoming more visible, becoming confident in front of their in front of their brand instead of hiding behind it.
Yeah.
And it was really, back then I started it as this kind of like resource hub. I had my own salon, and I was continually getting asked lots of questions of, you know, how did I do that social media post? Or, you know, oh, I wish I had something like you when I had a child. Like, how did you get started in your salon? And I kept getting lots of questions coming at me. So I was really only 5 steps ahead of someone else. And I wanted to create the community where people could feel connected and not be so alone. And it has definitely evolved over the 10 years, I think, with the speed of digital marketing as such, but it's still got like community as a heartbeat, which is really beautiful. So today, 10 years later, Beauty Business Co supports beauty business owners in becoming visible with their social media. I have a couple of little tiers. That's like my umbrella. And then underneath that umbrella, I have my membership called Beauty Boss Socials. That is similar, I guess, to the Social Method Society setup. I guess you could say like a membership, that reoccurring revenue where they come in and they can learn from me as their mentor. And then I've got Beauty Boss Carousels, which is my brand new software that I've developed, which is
we are going to circle back and talk about that. Oh, love it.
So that's another little tier. I do in-clinic content creation, which is spending 2 days in the business with the clinic owner. So it's a very high touch, high value positioning that I have where I can film, then edit all of their reels, which is so great for them, especially as a solo business owner that find it really hard to, you know, film their own content and get out of their own way as such. So
they would never get around to it. Like they are in there with their clients. Yeah. Or they're in there leading their team. Like they need that help. What a brilliant offer. Yeah. Okay. So that's the third tier.
And then the 4th tier is management clients. And I only have a handful of those because it is a very time-intensive work. They have to have the in-clinic shoot as well 2 times a year for me to take them on board as a management client. And then off the side to that, I'll do in-person retreats, events, which is obviously all part of, you know, the marketing funnel as well. But it's, bringing again that in-person connection because everything is so virtual and it, gives us the opportunity to really like deepen the work, you know?
Yes. So something that I love and admire about you, and I think this is why we are both still in business a decade later, is your ability to respond to shifts in the market. And that requires you to stay open to continuous learning and to pivot. And the amount of people, and I've said this as well, like I've had times where I'm like, really? Really? Do I have to go learn another thing? You know, and we are in the midst of one of the greatest changes in technological digital advancement ever with, of course, AI. And so seeing you lean into that and get creative and learn something new and put out an offer that you're so proud of, and all of us inside of Freedom Filled Business, like your peers, your sisters, like we are so proud of you. Can you tell us, like, was it easy for you to say, I'm going to learn how to do this. I'm going to build a product using AI. I'm going to launch this. Was that natural or was that like, did you have some resistance to it all?
Usually I am the girl that says that's way too hard. I wonder if I can outsource that if I really want to do it, you know, like get other people to be doing the things for me, right? Which I've learned. Delegation is a skill.
Yes. We don't have to do it all.
That's right. But for this in particular, it was one of those sort of divine downloads that came to me one afternoon, giving myself the time and space of rest. And it was actually after my son's soccer carnival. So as much as I wasn't in there running around, I came home completely exhausted and I said, I just need to go and have a nap. And I woke up from this nap with this big bing, oh my gosh, what if I could create a carousel creator for the beauty industry? Like what would that look like in an AI format? You know, like what if there was a software And I think it's the what ifs. And actually, it was probably in one of the tech calls inside Freedom Field Business that Karl was taking.
Yes.
And I think that he had mentioned one of the platforms that could be like a quiz creator or something like that for one of the other girls.
Mm-hmm.
And from this download, I literally like attached that conversation and I basically went to work, Trace. Like that's how simple it became to me. And I worked until 1 a.m. in the creation process, the building out, the like, you know, what becomes possible, just the ideation basically. And it looked like something could actually become a reality for this. And so that there's so many incredible tools out there that can speed track you, where an app or software, like I've tried to design an app for my membership before and I gave up because it was all too hard and like so expensive and all of the things. And I wasn't able to get down to like, you know, I think I was paying for the software for a little while and I just couldn't make it happen, you know. And then for this to be one of those things where I made happen within at least like a 48-hour period, and then we went live 7 days later, it was just, I am so proud of myself.
Oh, and you know what? Like, the fact that you are in Freedomville Business, you put yourself in a group container, you attended a group call that Coach Karl, for those of you that don't know, is my husband. He leads a call once a month. It's his tech and operations based call. And for you to attend the call and to receive wisdom or to have a little seed planted, we're like, there's something in that from a question that someone else asked. I think, like, you and I both sell group programs, and I think sometimes people can come to us and they can assume that the biggest value always comes from working with you one-on-one. I'm not saying one-on-one is not valuable or can't be valuable or there isn't a place for that, but I'm saying there is added benefit to being in a group program that cannot be quantified because you don't yet know what you don't need to know. And so when you come to a call and you hear someone ask a question and then a coach can share something with them, but really you're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I'm going to take that one. And, you know, whether you knew it or not at the time, for you to then give yourself rest, which all of our big ideas, best ideas come from rest, not desperation, from rest. And then for your intuition or guidance to somehow come upon you and say, this is what you're going to do and this is how you're going to do it. What a miracle moment. How cool.
It is really cool. And I remember coming into FFB and sharing, you know, I think we'd been live for 7 days or something like that, and we'd made 16 sales. And I was just so excited at the fact that when I was trying to voice message and then that didn't work. I was walking along the beach being fresh and I was like, I just need to share that I have done this. We've been live for 7 days and I've had 16 sales, and it's an offer because I have had so, like, basically, you know, the business format for me has been deliverable in like teaching and showing up and, you know, nurturing.
So much of your energy and time.
Very much so. And I love it so much. Like, I'm definitely not at the end of any of that, except that this offer was completely different, and having something that was built that it was just one of those transactions that I was like, oh my gosh, I don't actually, you know, of course I'm going to nurture them if they need help or anything like that, but I literally don't have to do anything and I'm making money while walking on the beach.
Yes. And do you know what I love for you with this offer? And I want everybody to lean in and listen. We are entrepreneurs. When you are a digital entrepreneur, we really have a global audience. Like, you have created an offer that doesn't or isn't affected by time zones or anything like that. And that is such a strong asset and offer to have in your business. If there's one thing that living overseas for the past 2.5 years has taught me, it is to expand how I see myself and my value and who I can help. I didn't really realize Angela, that I was thinking just all about Australia all the time. Even though I knew I was a digital entrepreneur and I'd fly all around the world to learn from mentors and things, I still was very like thinking so small. But it took moving countries for the penny to drop. They're like, hang on a second. I literally have a global personal brand. And so do you. And so to see women like yourself building offers that really can go global without your day-to-day interaction being there and all of the things, I'm so happy for you. What a cool thing.
I have launched it. And, you know, again, I guess we like to stay safe in a lot of areas when something is new, and I am ready to expand kind of worldwide because the beauty industry is a bit tricky with a lot of the words that they can't use in their marketing. And so I've kind of had to be a little bit where I've made it kind of like TGA compliant, and really that's been a strength because it's really been niched into the nurses and cosmetic injectors that have felt really blown off the whole opportunity to market their business, and now they feel that they can have a little bit of an olive branch leaf and say, oh, this can actually help me in speaking about what I do without, you know, getting in trouble or something like that. So
this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. Everything is figure outable. I love that. I think it's Marie Forleo who said that originally. And it's so true because it's like, yeah, you've created one version for one piece of the market. But I can already see, I'm like, oh, like I know like, oh, Karl, we've got to help Angela figure out like, how do we do it in this market and that market and this. So cool. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So you said something to me that I thought, oh, what a great thing to talk about on the podcast, because you had a very defining moment for yourself where, I mean, obviously you've been growing your business for 10 years and it's looked different through different seasons of motherhood and with the global market and things. And obviously you would have been around in the 2020 to 2022 era, like business looked different then again. Now with AI, it just keeps changing, but we keep going. But you said, again, you had like another big up-level moment or an invitation to up-level where you either said to yourself or you heard a voice say, we're not messing around anymore, Angela. Can you describe that?
Well, it probably was about turning 40.
Okay. Welcome to level 40.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's I don't think I've ever put too much importance, but like a decade's pretty big. And I think there's lots that can change in adult life, especially being a woman when you're stepping into the 40s, especially being in the beauty industry as well. Like I'm hearing so much when it comes to perimenopause marketing, menopause marketing, and all the things. And obviously, I've been under your mentorship for so long, and you're such an inspiration from health and fitness. And one of the things that you had mentioned once was like, you know, who are my grandkids going to be looking up to as, you know, like who do you want to be as a grandma? And it's, you know, I've got 2 autoimmune diseases. And when you said that, I was just like, oh my goodness, you know, like I've got these. There's nothing that can sort of change the whole concept of that. But what can I be doing for myself now that's going to create a better future for me first, but then also, you know, for my son Emilio, and then when these grandkids come, you know, you look at also your own parents, and you know, like I say a lot of the time, I'm rewriting my path and all of that kind of stuff. So it's just, I think, it was turning 40 at the beginning of the year. I've actually got it beside me, but there's a plant on it. We did beautiful plates, which had like all of our intentions, what we really wanted to bring in and envision for the year. And one of those was losing 20 kilos. It was the big affirmation of be her now. And so I've really, really anchored in that statement this year. And I've now lost 14 kilos.
Yeah.
I am like, my inflammation markers are at the lowest they've ever been. I'm doing lots of different things. I'm in a settled apartment now right by the beach. So my beach walking is a constant, at least every second day when I don't have Emilio, I'm always on the beach walking. I'm doing so much for my health now, making sure my protein intake's up. And it's just having a huge impact in every area of my life. The weight's going, which is beautiful from a perspective of that's helping with pain reduction, energy levels. And then in that, my confidence has risen in so many ways.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing all of that with us, because we are not just about let's create freedom through our businesses. It's also let's give ourselves freedom in the daily choices that make our lives better and being healthy or having vitality, like the energy to enjoy your life, to go on these beach walks. Or we can't help the different illnesses or disabilities or injuries or whatever that happens to the human body. We are fragile beings, but we do have choices. We can make daily choices there are some things in our control. And so we just love that you are like, no, I'm going to be her now. That means we cannot keep messing around. None of this is a joke. Everything does matter. We're going to do the things. We're going to reclaim our energy and our health, and we're going to do the things, and you feel so much better for it. Oh, yeah. Wow.
I absolutely do, and my son, he's 10 and a half now. That's also like a different era as well. He's not needing my attention as much, like he is here with me today and he's not going to come downstairs and interrupt our call. But that wasn't the case prior. It would be hard to kind of do that whole commitment to the way I want to structure the business, for the last 10 years of Beauty Business Co, I've been very open in sharing the messy middle and the journey along the way, because it hasn't been all roses. It certainly hasn't been all, uphill for me. And that helps a little bit as well with the different phase that he's in with his independence too, because I homeschool him, and a lot of that comes into the whole reason of why I've designed the business, and being able to have him 50% of the time because I'm a single mum. And I pretty much only work 26 weeks out of the year. And how beautiful is that? It's
I know.
Great.
There you are, this beacon of positivity and hope for so many people. And that's why I wanted to have you on the podcast, because so often women can look for all of the reasons why things aren't possible for them. And it hasn't been a bed of roses for you. When we first met, well, first of all, Angela was in the Social Method Society. Then she joined my mastermind in its first year and even its second year. You were in there for 2 years. So that's 2020 and 2021. And you were married at the time. And now you're not. You've been separated and divorced now for a while. And you've got Emilio, who's this incredible young man. You chose to homeschool a while ago, like way before I did. You were like, no, I really, we're going to homeschool, and you've got your online business, and you've allowed yourself to go in and out of things, like even working with us at varying times because you had to, but then you're like coming back in over the last couple of years into Freedom Filled Business, and you just have not stopped. You've not stopped growing and learning and sharing, and you are an incredible mother and woman. And while I have you here and everybody listening, and like you really are, and I hope that you feel that, and your child is going to benefit from having the happiest, healthiest version of you. There's nothing more important. Like, we can talk about the business stuff, which is incredible, obviously, and the fact that you make a difference and you help so many women grow and scale these beauty businesses. But ultimately, it's like you are giving yourself freedom first and foremost, not just through business, but from like giving yourself a whole new experience of life and longevity into the future, like how fun life gets to be because you're the healthiest version of Angela in the future. And that gets me excited. I love that for you. Yeah.
It is cool. And I've always said, like, you know, we all have a different definition of success.
Yeah.
And I teach that. I look up to you. I know the incredible success that you have. I'm not the same as you, and the level of your success, your version is different to mine. It doesn't mean that, you can't be inspired by those people around you. And that's why I have come in and out of programs with you of what I've had like allowed in capacity.
Yes.
Because, you know, I'm completely aligned with you and how you mentor and how you live your life. And it's a full inspiration. I think it's really important to have that proximity around you as well, because it can be lonely. I do have beautiful friends. I've obviously got my gorgeous community that I've built, and I feel like sometimes that can feel like I'm blending a lot of business and friendships, and then I look at myself and I'm like, I need to have a little bit more fun and joy and all of that. But it's like, I really love what I do so much, you know. It doesn't feel like work at all. And I think it's like, I never crave for a holiday. It's because I have literally built a life on purpose.
Yes. And like you said, working 26 weeks a year or whatever, like you're like, okay, so this is our situation with raising our son and you know, co-parenting in that way. And I've got this business, and I'm also going to prioritize my health. And so it's like looking at your year instead of looking at day to day. I see how you've done that. And so often people can get fixated on the idea that, you know, a working week is Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. And it's like, well, only in some settings is it that. But we really can make it be whatever it needs to be for our own households or our own situation. So can you share with us, like, what does a work week look like for you? You know, I guess, is it your child with his father on that week? Is that what's happening?
Yeah. So generally, when I do say 26 weeks out of the year is because the other 26 I am homeschooling, being a mum, and I might carve out a little bit of editing time, or like this only fell on the week that I had him. So there's obviously a little bit of room and flexibility, but generally I won't book meetings, calls, nothing in clinic. Just so, you know, like I've caught myself out so many times in regards to like, oh, it'll be fine. And then it just isn't. You know, we're running on a little bit of a adrenaline from park play or a homeschool meetup or something like that. So yes, this year in particular, it was a little bit more planned and strategic because I knew that I had this whole week on, week off scenario now. And that's definitely changed over the years from, just our setup. So, you know, I've gone from kind of that resentment of not having him with me to, hang on, this is actually going to allow me to have laser focused work activity. So the weeks that I do not have my son, I am either doing my in-clinic content creation shoots, which I will either fly anywhere in Australia or it'll be local, and I'll spend 2 days with the clinic. And they're pretty energetically focused. So I generally will leave like a day afterwards just for complete nothing.
I love that so much. Good.
So important.
Yes. Otherwise, entrepreneurial burnout is so real. So yes, to putting in the intentional white space after something so big.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you know, like I do have my admin days now. So yeah, if there's no in-clinic content shoot, then the whole week is obviously free. And that's up to me to make sure that I have the things in the calendar to get done. So, because otherwise it can be a little bit wishy-washy, like, oh, I am building up that webinar, or I am, you know, I need to do content, or, oh, I really should be doing a podcast episode. And I tell my students all the time, if it's not in the calendar, it doesn't get done. And it's exactly the same as me. So I'm trying a lot harder to, actually like batch exactly what I want to be working on in those times as well. So I've got
You know what's interesting? Everything that you are saying, all of these behaviors, these attitudes, these choices match exactly what you said your intention was for this year, which is to be her now. And we're not messing around anymore, Angela. And I'm like listening to you talk about, okay, we've talked about what that looks like health-wise and exercising and having rest, and even into how you're structuring your work week and you're reframing around the time that you do have versus seeing everything from a glass half empty. You're like, no, how can I make this work for me? Just everything that you're sharing is how she would be. She being like the best Angela. And so it's just really cool to hear you speak about this, because once you've changed how you're being, you literally change what you're doing. So if it's not in the calendar, it's not getting done. We do not have wishy-washy weeks. I love that you brought up that term. I'm like, I haven't heard that in so long. I want to use that in my copywriting. If you see that start to like, how to not be wishy-washy in your week, like, and you can be like, Tracy got that from me. Yeah, because I know what it's like to be wishy-washy. Like you're just reactive and nothing, and then you feel like you worked, but nothing really got done.
Absolutely. And of course, I've gotten 10 years into the business sort of being like that, a little bit wishy-washy, a little bit unstructured, a lot unstructured actually. And I think I work well that way, sometimes I'm like, well, I can really get so much done in that hour and a half before Emilio comes back to me. But like, what happened to the rest of the week? My gosh. And I get mad at myself. So this whole be her now anchoring it catches me out, Trace. And it's so good to be able to go, well, and it's not even if it's in the calendar, like just as work. That doesn't work either. No vague calendar entries. And this is you being fresh. Like this is like all of those letters we talk about fresh all the time in my programs. It's fitness and nutrition. It's relationships. It's your environment and energy that you place yourself in. It's your self-love, your spiritual health as well. And it's our work. It's our hustle. But like you, speaking of be her now, I'm just going to say something else you shifted, like another behavior, is to stop saying that you are someone who avoids the numbers. You stopped being her and you started being her. And so, what's the change there with the numbers thing? Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's just, again, having actual time allocated in my calendar to go and look at the data. And it's the stuff I don't like. I don't want to do it.
Guess what, babe? We don't have to like it in order to do it. I have to say this to the kids all the time. Really, I'm saying it to myself. But yes, okay, so you don't like it doesn't get to be an excuse for not doing it or not knowing it. So how has being a woman who puts look at your numbers or what numbers specifically you're looking at onto the calendar, how has that changed things for you this year?
Yeah, really. It's just, that awareness piece of knowing what's coming in, what's going out, what I need to do in order. I've set some huge goals. Emilio has an opportunity to get to the UK in December in a soccer academy. It's going to cost me $20,000. And I want to make sure that I make this happen. He's done a whole vision board about it.
I know who to tell you to talk to.
Oh, really?
Yes, I'm going to message you after this.
Okay.
Because their sole business is to help send more kids to these sorts of elite sports experiences and to reduce the cost for the family. The whole premise is that no child shouldn't be able to go because of financial reasons, regardless of whether there's two parents or single parents. It's like every child, if you want your child to go, you should be able to go and it shouldn't cause arguments in the home. And it should not take your family's one holiday away from you because you sent that one child to go and do their thing. So I know who to put you in touch with.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And it's not completely off topic, but it's just like when we're told and do all the whole goal. I love goal setting. I love doing the whole New Year's. My favorite time of set all the big goals, the mighty things that you want to achieve in the year, and then work out a way and how to get there. And instead of just having this whole, I work on my mindset, I'm going to make it happen attitude, which I'm really good at, is the turn to the avoidance of the numbers and actually like making sure I can figure out ways in how I'm bringing that into the business and making it possible. Yeah.
So it is faith, which you have in abundance, and numbers. It's like faith and numbers equals, freedom and strategy. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm getting better at that. I am absolutely just carving out more intentional time. And I think it's get the spreadsheet out and, and AI has been a great help as well. I think the whole too hard basket scenario story that I was giving myself, it's no longer an excuse because I can pop things into Claude and it can just give me, like it's kind of not everything's all done for me, right? But it's just like, oh, that was the equation that I was never able to kind of figure out myself. So that's just making things so much faster and a little bit less overwhelming as well. And then let's move on.
Yes. Oh my goodness. We don't need to avoid it. And we don't need to say that things are in a too hard basket. But it's all patterns and it's all coming back to the who do you say that you are? Who do you choose to be? Every single day when you get up as the leader of your life, as the leader of your business, who are you choosing to be? And we just see you like just going for more. Like obviously you're a magnificent being. You would not many people can say that they've had a business for a decade. And like to do that, navigating illness, navigating separation and divorce, being a single mom, all these things, a really crazy time in humanity of 2020. Wow, how random. AI, like, look at the era that you've had your business and all the things that have happened. So you're not going anywhere, but you just keep getting better and better and healthier. Yeah. Hotter, happier, wealthier. It's all happening, Angela.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's incredible what's happened in a 10-year span. And like I guess it's one of those things where I don't know if the business that I've created will actually, look completely different in another 10. Like who knows what the digital landscape is going to look like. Yeah. But I think it's really important to stay open to learning, being coachable, looking at new opportunities and just always welcoming. I've recently discovered a little bit more on kind of that soul's purpose and the North Node and the South Node and things like that. I went on a retreat and it was very self, which was beautiful. It was my 40th gift to myself. That really told me, like there's always this opportunity to constantly recreate, like I always come from this place of like, I'm so grateful for what I do have in my life, but like there doesn't have to be that glass ceiling. There's always this opportunity to evolve. And so I'm really good at collaborating and bringing people together. And it's leaning into those opportunities for inviting more abundance into my life. So yeah, it's exciting.
What are you most excited about that's happening in your business right now, if you're allowed to share?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm actually collaborating with one of my friends and doing an event. So this is a first because I've done my retreats. They've been very, like I've run them. I've invited everyone from my community and they've been a 5-day period. And I have run those 6 years in a row and decided this year that I wasn't going to run a retreat just to give myself a little bit more focus in other areas. So funny. Just not focus in one area and then go and create something else. I think that's just how my brain works.
Yeah, but I think God requires us to make space for more blessings. Like letting go of something that's good to make room for something great. There's something to be said about that. Yeah, the cost of growth is that something's got to go. And so, the fact that you're like, these have been really successful. I've really loved doing these. I definitely could keep doing this. but I'm going to allow spaciousness this year just to see what it's like without it. And like as a single mum, to cut off an income stream is terrifying.
Yeah.
It's not an easy decision, but you did it. Again, faith. And now what's it made space for? This beautiful another collaboration.
Made space for Beauty Boss Carousels, I'd say, and then also this collaboration. So yeah, it's a 2-day event that I'm doing with a friend who's a wellness energetics coach, and I will do the social media side, visibility strategist, and really, stepping into these beauty clinic owners to let go of any limiting beliefs that are holding them back. And it's really exciting to be able to do something with a friend. And
how fun.
Truly believe in, and we work really, really well together. And of course, there's so much learning and growing for us along the way. So it's an out of comfort excitement at the same time.
Okay. And that means growth lives there. Yeah. Because if it's comfortable, you're not growing. I really hope to God that everyone listening to this episode has got something that they're doing that feels so stretchy, almost like oh my gosh, can I pull this off? Because if you don't, you are playing small, and you maybe can borrow Angela's Be Her Now. We're not messing around anymore. No more Wishy Washy.
Exactly.
I feel like we could launch a brand of T-shirts. It will say, we're not messing around anymore. There will be the No More Wishy Washy one as well. And what's the other one? Be Her Now. You can just have those at your retreat.
We could. I've always wanted a T-shirt brand, Tracy.
Okay, done. You don't even have to thank me. You just run with that because it's all yours. I'm like, damn, you need to monetize these catch cries. Look at you. How fun that you are playing again in your business, that you are doing collaborations that just feels like you're hanging out with your bestie and you're creating with other humans.
Yeah, that's powerful as well, because I think I have been doing it alone for, as much as I've been in your container, and that's not lonely. I think that's really important to have that proximity around you of incredible brains trust and people that are not in my industry as well. That's the fresh air a lot of the time as well. But I even went down to a digital hub today, and they are a group of people who basically are building businesses, building digital businesses, because I was looking for a space for this podcast just to make sure everything was going to go smooth for us. And I ended up having a great chat with the owner, and I just am so inspired. And I just thought, oh my gosh, what a great place to come every day. But it would require that structure and commitment, and they have workshops around AI, and they're just
cool,
having coffee together. And I guess, again, allowing yourself to have that space for conversations rather than okay, I'll be back at 2:30 to start my podcast. And I've just not had that in my life for a really long time either. And I think that's also it's an opportunity and a gap that I've seen that could really enhance the quality of not just my life, but the business, and how, these great conversations can be so expansive as well.
Mm. That is wise. Thank you for sharing that with us, because we're so busy and so consumed by all of the things that we've got to do, and we're rush, that we don't have enough presence, or we tell ourselves that we don't have enough time to truly have a conversation with a stranger that really could be put in our path for a purpose, and we'd never know because we're too busy, or we're not giving them a chance, or we're rushing to our next thing. So when you create spaciousness in your days, and when you have a nervous system that is calm and regulated, and when you are good at listening to other people, all opportunities come from other people. That is one thing I've learned. And so I love that you found this place with these people, and it's right on your doorstep. Everything is there in front of you in your life at your fingertips. We just have to notice. That's so cool. Miracle moment.
Really cool. Yeah, it's cool to know it exists, because he's like, there's plenty of co-working spaces. There's plenty of places you can have high internet. This is really different, we're like really building something all together here, but they're all on their own path. It's
a community. It's a village. Yeah. Everyone is, and I have a podcast coming out about this. Everybody wants the village, but no one wants to be a villager, because we're all like, oh, I'm too busy. Oh, it's an inconvenience. Oh, I don't have time or whatever. But it's like, the cost of having a village is that you will be inconvenienced sometimes. You might have to do something for someone else. Oh, heaven forbid. But yeah. Oh, how cool. I think that whole experience that you shared, it's like one big example of the E in fresh, which is placing yourself, like what happens if you place yourself in an environment where the energy feels, I don't know, how would you describe the energy of that interaction or that co-working space?
Yeah. I thought it was really inspiring. Like I would have believed that everyone was a lot smarter than me. And I always know that, I don't want to be the smartest person in the room, but it definitely feels a stretch. Like the dance class I went to the other day, and I talked myself out of it like 10 times in the nighttime. And then I got there, I was like, oh, I forgot my water bottle. Don't worry about it. I'll drive home. Like all of these things coming up before I step into a room of discomfort before actually it's not so bad.
And you
I
belong
enjoyed
there. It's fun and you belong there and you bring value to others in that space.
Yeah, knowing that and believing, that's a really beautiful statement actually. I'll take that with me because I think that's important to remember, like even though you're going into a class to do something for yourself, you can never underestimate the inspiration that you'll have on another person and the impact that you might have on another person from being there too.
Oh, 100%. You are adding value to every individual in that dance class. I can guarantee you. Your energy, your essence, it's a contribution to the room.
So it might be like that in the digital space, the hub thing.
100%. You had that similar feeling of like, oh, I'm inspired. Oh, am I good enough to be here? Can I contribute there? I love that. That's humility. That's, some people will be like, that's imposter syndrome. I'm like, I think a bit of that is also healthy. That's humility. Imagine having an ego that like just was always like, I'm too good to be here. That's the opposite. I'm too good to be here. No, we can learn from everyone. And yes, we do add value, I think. Or we have an opportunity to add value. Oh, okay. Well, I was going to start to wrap up our chat, but then you went into the dancing and now I'm like, I want you to tell people about the dancing because this is another big change and another big tick in fresh because it's a form of movement. What is it? Well, what is it? What are we doing? Are you going, is it weekly? Like what's happening?
Yes. Yeah. So going to a weekly Zumba dance class and it's just for an hour. It is, I was like, oh, this is pretty good. I've got it. And that was just the warm up. And then it got fast. And I do have a little bit of a story behind that because I was married to a Colombian we were together for 14 years, married for 10. And I think, he was a singer, so he was always on stage. I was always in the environment of Latin dancing, and he is an incredible, artist and all the things. It was a huge part of my life. And when we had separated, I guess, I started talking to myself in the way of like, I can't do that anymore, or I won't do any dancing anymore because, is this culture not kind of like a part of me anymore because I'm divorced, So I basically have told myself the story of like not Latin dancing or really any dancing. I've literally stripped the joy of dancing from my life for all of this 5 years, basically. And I think that was a part of the story of, me talking myself out of being in the room of like, not just could I not do the moves because of the autoimmune stuff, but actually did I belong there and was I worthy enough to be in that space even though I'm not married to my Colombian husband anymore.
Yeah.
And so thankfully I do have quite a bit of self-awareness in that, and I do allow myself to kind of sit and feel the feels and what's coming up for me, and I can move past things pretty quickly. But once I had realized that and stepped into that room and had fun, because there was music in there that he sung, and it kind of triggered me when I was doing some of the dancing, and that, I think, was that revelation of like, this is why I was feeling the way that I was.
This is massive exposure therapy.
Yes, it was.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, it is. It's a big story. It's it's something now that I feel that I am worthy of being in that room. I am, totally capable to be dancing Zumba just because it's Latin, and I love the culture. My son is half Colombian.
Yes.
Why would I want to strip that away from my life? Like all of these things of just, acceptance and allowing that joy to be back in my life is now, again, another little anchor of, you need to go back to that class because it means so much more than just stepping in the room and doing a boogie.
Oh, so much more. Thank you for sharing that with us. And it's so good for you as well. It's good for you, like, health-wise. It's fun. Of course you belong in the room. Oh, we cannot let these unhelpful thoughts that we all have, why do we think of the wildest, nastiest thoughts and we tell ourselves these things? But to be able to catch them and to say, yeah, away with you, or not today. Today is not the day and I'm not the one. We're going to the class, like to pattern disrupt and then go and put yourself in that room. It's so brave. It is far easier to listen to those unhelpful voices and live life like that than it is to live a life of freedom, which requires courage. So you've got to like go through it. Oh, but you really are. And you're incredible. And look at how much life is flourishing. We're only recording this in July and there's just so much more in store for you. And it's as a result of you, and how you're leading yourself. So congratulations on all of the continued growth, and thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me and always creating space for, me to allow to share, whether it's here. I think I've been on your podcast like 3 times in 10 years. That's so
people
special.
was going to say people should go and listen to the journey and I guess the conversations, but maybe you should. You'll be like, whoa, who was that?
I know. I'm selling my house and buying a motorhome and traveling Australia.
How fun. How fun.
I don't regret it. I don't have regrets from that. That was one of the best decisions that we made as a family. It stepped into the pivotal moments of being able to have a life of freedom and flexibility and a business designed around it, because I had the salon at the time. So I was very much, in the one location, but I had this building in the background and now it has replaced all of that income. So that's, there's so much growth and there's been some highs, lows, dips in between, but business isn't linear, right?
No. It is not. And we can have our plans, but then you also have to loosen the attachment to those plans and be prepared to be guided in other directions. And I had a beautiful conversation with a female founder here in Bali this morning. We had breakfast together and a good couple of hours together. And she's older than me, not by too much, but another decade, I think, minimum. But she lives such an exciting life and she's a freedom maker herself. And her and I both share, maybe it's morbid, I don't know, but we're both like, well, we're all going to die. May as well just have fun. That's all not so serious. Life is a blessing. Our health is a blessing. It can change in an instant and you can't take your stuff with you. So be a good human, add value, have fun, and don't be afraid. I think it sounds so simple. But we need conversations like this. So thank you. Conversations like this to remind us. It's I can do this. I belong in that room. Watch me.
Watch me
Yeah.
move my hips.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Until you and I get like dance together, I see that. I just got a vision of that. I'm like, yes, we're going to be dancing together. Oh my gosh. So good. So good. All right. Where can people go to see what you are up to? Tell us your website. I'll put in the show notes too, and your Instagram handle. And we can see, like, keep following your journey.
Yes, I would love that. So beautybusinessco.com.au is the website, and at beautybusinessco_ is the Instagram. I do hang out there on the daily. So yeah, come into the DMs and say hi.
Yes, and support in the comments and likes. We never mind. We're always grateful for that. And you'll just see Angela over there having a whole lot of fun. Yeah. It's so nice to see. It's so nice. It's just like more and more radiance. That's what I'm seeing. And a healthy, happy you. So well done. Keep it up. And we'll keep following your success.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for having me, Trace.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Angela, for joining me in this week's episode. Ladies, let this be a reminder to all of us that at any moment in time, we get to redefine how we are being. We get to choose, quite literally, how we want to be in all of the micro moments of every given day. And so what is it that you are being asked to let go of in order to make room for the next blessing or the next season or the next miracle or the next collaboration, the next offer, whatever it might be? And what would life start to look like if you began to prioritize your own well-being, your own health, your own physical fitness, your own mental well-being? What would it look like if you allowed rest and spaciousness instead of having an overcrowded schedule? What would it look like if you stopped being a little wishy-washy, if you have been? I think that, there was so much goodness in what Angela shared and what felt like a really authentic conversation for both of us. When I stopped recording, she actually said to me, she's like, oh my gosh, that just was basically like, we just recorded a conversation. And I was like, yes, I love it. I love it. And I love that it took such a wellness focus, because I believe that as a collective, we are all being invited to take greater responsibility over our wellness as entrepreneurs, or like I like to say, our freshness, because that is us looking after ourselves. And you can't have a freedom-filled life and a freedom-filled business if you are not well in your physicality, well in your mental health, well in your spirit, well in your relationships, all of that. So thanks, Angela, for sharing exactly what that looks like. And thank you to everyone for being here. And I'm excited to hear what you got out of this episode or what you feel like you have been invited to change. See you next week.